to play, but I think it's, if I was gonna say like what's the best like game as art, it's easily Undertale. If like what's my favorite game to just play, it's probably something like Brutal Doom, which is like the complete antithesis of Undertale. I think I killed one.
Apparently we were offline briefly.
Well, every time I minimize or tab out to change something, it goes offline. So I guess we just have to deal with that unfortunate reality.
I think we were off just because we were increasing the game volume, guys.
Which hopefully it works, because if it's still dead, life sucks.
Soonrider says you need more video quality options. That is not something that we can manage. I mean, it might be that I can now, but like you have to be a Twitch affiliate to have those options. So it's not like my fault.
We're stuck in peasant mode. Do you wish to leave your childhood behind and begin apprentice training? You bet!
But I'm actually going to go see if I can do something about that.
Nobody cares.
Channel and I don't know where I would go in my Twitch to like solve this issue.
Yeah, I got a jawline now. I look so fucking sexy. Yeah. To run, press and hold right mouse button.
Man that ever lived. Alright, let's look at all this stream information, stream health, bit rates. Our stream health is excellent according to Twitch's backrooms.
Well, so that's good.
There you go. Do you listen to Weezer? I mean, I was just singing Weezer. So, although that song is god-awful. That song is only good as a meme in Endless Jest videos. Specifically on the Blue Glow, especially. Because, like, the song is like 4.5 minutes of like random tone changes that almost all suck, and then there's one moment in the middle where it's like really kick-ass, and Jesse always plays that part whenever he does something really badass in a game, but otherwise that song is garbage. But we listen to a lot of Pinkerton in this household because it's May's favorite album, and it is good. What makes Fable a good game to analyze? We don't necessarily know yet, but I mean, mostly that it's incredibly complex and thought out. I feel like there's probably a lot of underlying things in this game that that deserve more credit than they've gotten, and also certain things that make it a frustrating nightmare that have been under talked about. Because like with games like this, there are things that are frustrating, and people get fixated on too much on like the tangible details of what is frustrating. Like the game starts with you playing as a kid, and you're like, you know, you're not at full power, and like it sucks, but it's trying to say something. Like there's clearly a reason that part happens, and like I think it's just a matter of like miscommunication between the game's intentions and the player. That like this game is not as interested in being like a combat action RPG as it is in being like a morality sim and like a
look at this
having
guy.
all these social messages and shit, you know.
This guy looks awesome. I want to be that guy.
And so like I think there's a lot of things that this game.
I feel like we're on two different levels right now. You're
yeah,
like trying to like.
I'm appreciating this guy. He's a shirt. So, I mean, he kind of looks like you a little bit.
He looks like he belongs in World of Warcraft. Look at that.
Yeah,
armor.
he definitely does. But I feel like there's a lot of things that are wrong with this game because of like what it was trying to do makes some of what it allows you to do frustrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can get.
In fact, I would say that that's generally my problem with like most games that I have a problem with is that like for instance, we were talking about how both of us really hate the Half-Life 2 cutscene style, or like BioShock Infinite, like where we
had a discussion about that a few days ago.
Yeah, where they give you control over the character during the cutscenes, and it's like if you want to have a great like cinematic cutscene, don't give control to the player, because the player is going to run around and try to play a video game while the cutscene's happening. And like there are some players who don't do that, I guess, and I don't understand how those people live or think or operate, because I cannot even comprehend like having control and then choosing to just stand and stare at a guy while he talks at you for fucking 6 minutes, you know, like, so That's kind of what I mean. I think this is a game that has like tons and tons of interesting ideas and cool shit you can do, but it also has lots of things you can do that will piss you off and make you frustrated and maybe shouldn't have been there, you know?
Yeah. I think this game didn't get like a fair shake even back in the day because it was judged more on what it wasn't than what it was because it was hyped so much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I want to kill Whisper. Didn't know you could, but now I want to do that. I want to kill her with Force Lightning.
This guy says Pinkerton is hated on too much. I thought, like, it was at the time, but, like, Pinkerton gets nothing but love on, like, Mew and shit. What's your opinions on Digimon?
I love Digimon. Unironically, do like it. Huge fan.
I'm sure I would like it, but I haven't seen it in fucking forever.
Tamers is great. I didn't watch past season 3 though. 4 seemed kind of dumb. 5 looks cool just because like in the first episode, like a dude just punches a Digimon in the face and fights him barehanded and it works. Then I watched a little bit of Cross Wars, but I fell off the bandwagon on that. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that shit.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing that like people fixate so much on Peter Molyneux's promises that like they don't like that shit is totally irrelevant to the quality of the game in my mind. Like that context surrounding the game affects why people perceive it, but like in terms of judging the game on what it is, like fixating on what it's not is just totally unhelpful. And I think that's why I don't think there's been like a complete analysis of Fable, like where someone's actually broken down what the game is as opposed to just whining about like what it's not, you know? Because personally, I never saw any of the stuff about the game before it came out. Like, I just bought this game because I saw ads for it and it was an RPG where you have a sword, and that's why I bought it. And so, like, I have no idea what Peter Molyneux promised that was not delivered on. And I never do because I don't buy into hype, and I think people who buy into hype are dumb. Like, I think it is stupid to look into something before it's out. I wait till it's out and then I read the reviews. That's how I know if the game is good and what's in it. Because you can't trust the people who are trying to sell you the fucking game. Like, that's basic 101 shit in every medium, and not even just in mediums, in products. Like, have you never seen an infomercial? Like, that's what they do. That is what advertising is lying to you or half-truths about a product. When you watch a McDonald's commercial, and do you expect to get a burger that looks like that? Because if so, you're fucking naive, you know? Like... And of course, nowadays, again, it's passé that this happens. But I just think to fixate on that, it's like, guys, stop being butthurt about the fact that you were a naive child when this game was coming out.
I got a katana for getting an A+.
Not that I'm, like, defending Peter Molyneux's decisions or anything, or saying, like the game's gotten the rap it's gotten the beat down. It's gotten the lack of trust. Like, we get it. That's over. Move on. Like, it's time to focus on what we can say about it now, you know, what we can learn from it. And, like, you can't really learn from a game that you haven't actually studied, you know?
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at my fucking katana now, dude. Yes. Alright.
I'm really fascinated, too, by, like, this game does give me like a WoW vibe, kind of hardcore, in the way the world is set up, like the way these pathways work, where like there's roads, but they're kind of minimal, and you don't feel this need to like follow the path per se, which is just general good planning, because it incentivizes players to not railroad themselves, but to like play around and like look at everything. At least in this area, like there's a great sense of that. You know, we'll see more as we go along.
Yeah, it's good shit. Press E to unsheath your bow. You can aim shots with the mouse, or lock on by pressing space. All right.
This guy says, not locking the player in cutscene helps people not being annoyed. Cutscenes are good to an extent, but when there are too many, people get bored. I agree. If you're worried about boring people, don't put cutscenes in the game or make them good. Like, I hate the middle grounds that everyone stops at. It's like, either give me a compelling film to watch or give me a compelling game to play.
Right.
Do not try to put me in between the two, because that is where I will just get the most pissed off. Like, Half-Life 2 has, in my opinion, the worst cutscenes I've ever played in a game.
I kind of agree, yeah.
They are the most insufferable, the most hard to sit through, the most, like, pulling my hair out, because you can't skip them. You just have to sit there and, like, run around a room in circles for 15 fucking minutes while people talk around you about boring bullshit you don't care about.
Switch to first person. You press
Hate that
the
game.
right mouse button while drawing back. Oh god, this is the mouse is starting to get kind of bad. They're putting too much shit on here.
This guy says, in one of your videos you said all dystopian stories are the same because they predict society will fail the way it is. What would you add to make it different? Not that they'll fail the way it is, that they... It's more that the idea behind a dystopia story is that someone decided that they had all the answers and that everyone else needs to listen to them. And that's the problem is that anytime you do that, there's going to be someone who doesn't fall into the system, who has newer, better ideas, and they cannot execute them because of the way the society is laid out. And that is why a dystopia is a bad thing, because it's just stopping the buck arrogantly on your own ideas, you know? But that's why I think the most interesting dystopia stories are the ones where the society is, like, actually super functional, but, like, just barely doesn't work, you know? And that's what I love about Psychopaths so much, is that, like, the society is ill-founded and ill-considered, and it doesn't... There's a lot of people who it fails for, but for the people it works so well that they will not fight against it at all. Like, there's no reason for most people to fight it, you know? Whereas, like, a lot of dystopias present it like everyone is fucking miserable, and, like, the reason they don't fight back is because they just think they are too weak.
Right, they can't.
But, like, in real life, it would be so difficult to make a system that was, like, that harsh that people wouldn't, like, break out of, you know? Like, in real life, revolts happen when things get even a fraction of how bad they get in most dystopia stories, you know? So, unless it's something like Hokkaido, where, like, they literally lobotomize people to just be fucking, you know, to fall in line. Do videos on what makes a good porno game. I haven't played enough porno games. I mean, I would think the best thing for them to have would be good porn.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to stop playing this and start playing Orgasm Girl, the greatest porno game of all time. Alright, let me talk to this guy again. It's getting dark. It's getting dark.
Tom, can you talk about the Fable series as a whole and your experience with it shortly?
Sure. So I played Fable 1 years after it came out. I think I played it in 2008 is when I was doing this. So that's like 3 or 4 years after it came out. I loved it. I thought it was cool. I played Fable 2 a little while later when I got a 360.
I forgot to fucking... Hold on. Before you even tell the rest of this, I forgot to actually add the link to the Spreadshirt in the description. How do I do that? What is it called?
It should just be...
Is it just called I Am Games?
It's either I Am Games or I-Am-Games.
Oh, dash. Like
a dash. I think it might... It's one of those two.
So is it just .com/IM dash?
I believe so.
Okay. I interpreted dash as slash earlier, and that's why.
Yeah, that's not I don't...
Okay, I got it. I found it. I found it by way of the phone case option.
Okay,
Anyway, go ahead and tell the rest of your Fable story. I'm sorry for cutting you off. If anybody wants to buy our sick-ass fucking t-shirts that we are wearing right now, I am going to put a link to our Spreadshirt in the fucking stream info.
God.
How do I even
controls
do that?
Shit.
How do we have like a description, right?
We do, yeah.
How do I like change the description?
I don't know.
Whatever. Anyway, can tell us your Fable story.
I mean, there's really not much to say. I played Fable 2 with my girlfriend at the time because she was super into Fable, and so we got Fable 2 for the Xbox. We both played it. I thought it was cool, but it was kind of like... Fable 2 dumbed down Fable 1 a lot, and then Fable 3 dumbed it down even more, and then Fable 4 was, I guess, a disaster. So it just became less of an RPG and more of like it's a game, I guess. So I played... 2 was okay, but you couldn't die in Fable 2, which was pretty weird.
I posted a link in the chat, but I'm still trying to figure out. You couldn't die?
You can't die in Fable 2.
What?
Yeah, you don't die. You just like fall down and then get back up or something.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was for babies.
I don't understand when games, like... I mean, was the first game, like, did they just think it wasn't successful enough?
I don't know. Then, like, all the spells, like, had, like, an AoE version and, like, a regular version. It was odd. It was a different kind of game for sure.
Like, generally the theory with sequels should be that you give the people who liked it more of what they want, and then they will continue hyping it, and that will make more people interested.
Right, which
like,
is why Doom Eternal is going to be the best sequel.
I feel like a lot of the times what will happen is that they'll make the first one, and they'll be like, okay, that was a big success, but we want it to be even more successful, so let's dumb it down and make it more broadly accessible. And it's like, you don't have to do that, because if the people who like the game are hyping it all the time, they will explain the other people what's good about it. Like, they will go and tell you, they will brag about it, and then if the second one comes out and it's dumbed down, then that base audience is just going to say, oh, the sequels suck. And then the people who are, like, curious about it, who are like, oh, there's a second one? Like, that means the first one must have been good, right? So how's the second one? And then they're like, oh, it's shitty. Don't even bother, you know? And, like, even if there was a chance that the people, the noobs, like, would like it more, like, they're not going to know that until they play the game, and they're not going to play the game until someone tells them it's good. So, yeah, it's just, I just don't understand the mentality.
Corporate executives who don't understand how human beings work because they haven't talked to a human being in years.
Is it really that, like, is it that straightforward? Like, are people dumb?
I mean...
Or is there just something we don't know?
Hillary Clinton hasn't driven a car in, like, 30 years.
Yeah, there you go. I guess that says it all right there. How the fuck do I update the goddamn fucking description on this goddamn fucking stream? Chat, do any of you know how to update the description?
I'm getting fucking wrecked.
If so, let me know. Because I don't even know what exactly is the description on a Twitch stream. We almost did not use Twitch for this because of the fact that neither of us really goes on Twitch or knows shit about Twitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn how to...
Like, I'm fairly certain that I have the ability to make it so people can, like, do paid subscriptions, but I don't know how. Like, I got accepted as an affiliate, I think. Here, let me see. Affiliate onboarding. Setup complete. Alright, so I've set up all the stuff to make payments. Subscription names. Okay, so there's different tiered subscription plans. How can there be a $25 plan? Like, what can I offer people who are giving $25 a month to the Twitch stream?
Custom emotes, dude.
There's loyalty badges, which will obviously just be IM games. We're gonna figure all this out, by which I mean Tom's gonna figure all this out because I'm retarded. So, you know, now that Tom has heard the number 69 viewers at 3:30 in the morning, he will definitely be excited to solve things.
I'll figure it out.
And incidentally, these T-shirts are already, like, we sold, so we made, so far all that I Am Games was up until this live stream is I made one tweet where we had a picture of us in the shirts, and it said, like, I am, like, here's our YouTube channel link, there's nothing on it yet, but if you want, you can PM Tom and buy one of these shirts. We have about 10 left, and we've managed to sell, like, 6 shirts on the basis of that.
We have 5 sold, 1 more is pending. Yes,
and now we have the spread shirt, so we can do it more easily than through Tom literally printing them himself.
Yeah.
Dastaff2 asks, what is escaping entropy? I'm glad you asked, because it's all I talk about. Well, it's pretty simple. Like, eventually the universe will die. like, everything in the universe will eventually die. The sun will eventually go cold or explode or whatever. One day, Earth will vanish, and eventually the universe will get so cold because, like, okay, the Big Bang is just a case of thermal expansion, right? It was so hot that it blew up and it expanded outwards. Well, eventually, as it keeps expanding, it will go too far, and it won't be able to keep itself hot, and so it will go cold, and then some theorize it will then collapse back in on itself somehow. But anyways, one day, everything will go cold and die. So before that happens, we need to figure out if there's a way for us to escape the universe. Because we know that the universe is finite. We know that, like, there is an amount of it. And to conceive of that mere concept means that there must be something outside of it. So if we can figure out how do we get outside the universe, that is what I mean by escaping entropy.
You need to stop playing video games and start getting into quantum physics if you want
Well,
to
I
figure
think that video games are just a teaching tool to teach kids to get on this mindset.
I don't know. It only taught me to, like, eat Doritos and get fat.
But see, here's the problem: is that people trying to make advancements, like, we need a lot of people to do this because, like, everyone has to be, like, we need tons of people doing math and solving shit, and to do that we need an educated populace. And since most people are, like, way below the level of even beginning to be concerned about this, most people are like, I can't even put food on the table. Like, we need to solve those problems. So it's like we've got people at the head of the pack who are like Elon Musk, who's, like, working on how do I escape entropy, and then you got people who are like, I can't, like, I don't even have, like, potable water in my village. And it's like, some of those people might be the ones with unique mentalities that will allow them to come up with unique codes to help us to figure out more things,
I think so examples like that's the best case for, like, universal income and, like, solving poverty and shit, because, like, how much human potential has been left on the table.
And we need as much of it as we can. Granted, we do have, like, we have more humans than we really need right now, I think, but I think that is correcting itself because people don't feel because we have too many humans, young people can't get jobs, and because young people can't get jobs, they're not having kids. So, like, it is correcting itself. But because we seemed to have the impression that we would always just have an ever-expanding number of jobs, and then that proved to be untrue. So, you know, we don't need the amount of people we have anymore. But, like, the more people we have working on codes and, like, bringing unique perspectives to it, the more chances we have of getting off the planet, getting out of the universe, solving all this shit. No, it is not a idea. It is what basically all art is about. I mean, go watch any anime. Go watch Gurren Lagann. The show is about escaping entropy. Literally, they actually say that in the show. Like,